for the first thing, like how we define psychology, if somebody say you how to define, like just define psychology, how will you define it?
So psychology is kind of the, is it the way the brain works, or the mind and behavior connect?
Yep, that's how you interact your mind, like the physical and emotional things. So psychology is a branch of science that deals with the behavior, like how you're gonna behave and how the mind works.
Okay.
So the function of mind and behavior, that is your output thing that you produce.
Okay.
So in book, it is defined as a branch of science that deals with the human behavior and mental processes. That's pretty much what we said in our own words, but in their words it said that it's human behavior, like the output, and mental processes is the mental functioning of the brain.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So for history of psychology, you don't need to remember the years. You just need to remember who said what.
Okay.
Right? But still you can go through years. It's good to have extra knowledge. So for years, it says that for the beginning, we can have these copies if you want.
Okay.
So for the beginning is like William I. He separated the psychology from the science.
Okay.
From philosophy, I mean. So it's like, first they took philosophy and psychology as same, because philosophy is something like saying about, and psychology is kind of same for them. But then William Watt said that, no, psychology is something different. We can like have disorders and we can diagnose disorders, and psychology is human behavior, whereas philosophy is what a human think, and he can like give a detailed structure about it.
Okay.
So that's why he differentiated psychology from philosophy, and now these both things are different.
Okay.
So on test you might be asked like, at the beginning was psychology and philosophy was like same thing or different thing or something like that. Any question like that?
Okay. So just know that there's difference.
They like William what different, or like separated it.
Okay.
Alright. Before that it was the same thing, or like it was counted in the same thing. And he also made first psychological lab.
Laboratory.
Yep.
Okay.
And then William James, he told the principles of psychology. He laid the foundation, like these are the principles on which we can deal with psychology. So he's known as the father of psychology.
William James, so father of psychology.
Yep. It says American psychology specifically, I don't know why, but. Then there are many other scientists who worked on it and produced many things, but the famous thing was Freud produced the interpretation of dreams. So that was a part of psychology where they thought that dreams could be part of psychology. Like what you think, you can interpret, or you can actually picturize them when your other senses are late working.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep. And then Bennett, he was like a pioneer in intelligence, and he said that intelligence is a part of psychology which can be developed according to the environment. It does not matter like how a person grow or what ability he has. If he enhance it, he can reach the highest level of intelligence.
Okay.
And for like the exception is that it's their interest. Alright? So if you have that interest and you're gonna enhance it, you can reach the higher level of intelligence. That's what he said.
Okay. So he pioneers intelligence testing.
Yep. He developed IQ system and all that.
Okay.
And then Watson, he studied on behaviors and stuff, and then he made a school on behavioralist. So where people who like study behavior will be there, and there are some people who like who define the stages of life as being behavioralist. They said So there's humanistic, there's behavioralist, and there's some people that we come to know next. But then they study the psychology in those terms specifically.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so.
Is there any question on this?
No, I think that's good.
Cool. Then, who worked in psychology? I mean, in intelligence?
Intelligence and the IQ thing was
Bennett.
Bennett.
Then Francis Galton worked on it and more, and he defined intelligence as an ability. That was pretty much he said that, but he didn't define that much. Here he defined that it's ability that you can grow even. It's not just the natural thing that came inside you and the much you got naturally was it.
So basically you can strengthen it.
Yeah, it's an ability that you can, and like it's a skill that you can learn it more.
Okay.
So he said that it's an ability for the sensory discrimination. So intelligence is the thing that helps us to differentiate between the things. For example, if there are two things which are similar, we still can find the difference, or if there's any difference or something, it's because of our intelligence. And if it's not that similar, still we can differentiate light within other things and all. And the things that are in the light, we can differentiate them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's because of our intelligence. Okay, so who worked on being behavioralist?
What behavioralist?
Who worked as being behavioralist or made a school of behavioralist? Don't worry, we can go through it again. Yep. Alright. So Watson worked on behaviors. He studied behaviors of the people, and his famous quote is like, if you give me dozen of healthy infants, he's gonna make somebody doctor, somebody infant. Like he's gonna make anybody what he thinks.
Oh yeah, I remember him a little bit.
Yeah.
How you can make a person whatever.
Yeah. So he said that it just depends upon the behavior. Like we can change somebody's behavior. We can stimulate somebody to become something. For example, if a child grow, like if you say him from the childhood that you're gonna become doctor, ultimately he's gonna become doctor.
Gotcha.
Yep. What's his famous work? So, what do you understand by perspectives?
I remember a little bit from them, but not enough.
Mm-hmm. Just tell what perspective means in psychology.
So, perspective is different views or different ways of approaching something
Mm-hmm.
or describing something.
Alright. Yeah. It's just how you differentiate one thing to another, and that's correct. You said that it's views, how you differentiate your views.
Okay.
So there's 7 perspectives in psychology that you can differentiate psychology in. First is biological perspective. So the biological perspective says that human, the functioning of human is based on the genes, and whatever the genes has got, like your nervous system and your brain system, whatever the thing they have got, they're gonna perform that.
Okay.
Alright. For example, if you don't have enough energy to work more efficiently, then you won't be able to enhance your intelligence. Does that make sense?
So, depending on how much energy.
It does say that bodily functions affect psychology.
Okay.
So wherever we do, the functioning of our behavior is dependent upon our genes.
Okay.
So the second one is cognitive perspective. And cognitive means the mental processing. So it says that this parapsychology deals with how you perceive things, how you think about them. The main thing in cognitive psychology or cognitive perspective is stress. If you take stress, your functioning will be low, and if you kind of overcome it, you can do more. Right? So for example, if we go to take tests, we have studied everything, but we are so stressful that we don't remember anything.
Yeah.
Although you studied everything, and then after stress we remember, oh, I have studied this, right? That's just like that you were under an influence of stress. That's why you were unable to do that. So if you know how to overcome that, you can easily do that. So it's how you perceive the things, how you think about them.
Okay.
Behavioralist perspective is like they emphasize on behavior. Like this is that different people have different behavior, and because every individual is unique, so they have their specific behavior that helps them to grow, or maybe they will not be able to grow or uplifted. It depends upon how they what behavior they have.
Like their environment affects their learning?
Yep. So what they say is like your environment has a big role in your learning, but the thing is what behavior you have. So if you are grown up in an environment where you was encouraged every time to learn things, and you was always encouraged for like, oh, this is good, you should do it, and then you did it again. So it's like you had the behavior, you have developed that behavior due to their environment.
Okay.
So if you are born in a good environment, you'll be good. If you're born in the environment which was like always people discouraged you,
Dysfunctional or
yeah. So
something.
yep.